Sometimes, the quietest child in the room carries the loudest pain, and it takes just one person to hear it. Miss Mitchell, a fifth-grade teacher known for her discipline and structure, began every school day with a cheerful, "I love you all," a phrase that felt more like a formality than a heartfelt expression. Her students knew this, especially Henry. He was the kind of boy teachers often overlook, silent, always in wrinkled clothes and scuffed shoes, distant in his gaze and absent in spirit. To Miss Mitchell, he was a lazy, disinterested student. She grew increasingly irritated with his lack of participation, and over time, that irritation hardened into quiet contempt. During mid-year evaluations, Henry's poor academic performance prompted her to write a stern and unkind report, blaming him for his failures and dismissing him as careless. But before the report was sent home, the school's headmaster intervened. He noticed that Miss Mitchell hadn't written a single positive note about Henry and asked her to include something kind. She objected, claiming there was simply nothing good to say. The next day, on her desk, she found Henry's past academic records. Curiosity piqued, she began to read. What she discovered shattered her assumptions. In the 3rd grade, Henry had been described as smart and full of potential. But in the 4th grade report, the tone changed. Henry's mother had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. The final note read, "Henry's mother has passed. Please help keep the light in his life alive." Tears welled up in Miss Mitchell's eyes as the truth set in. Henry wasn't careless, he was grieving. From that moment forward, everything changed. Her daily "I love you all" finally rang true, especially when her eyes met Henry's. She began to guide him, gently and consistently, offering patience, support, and encouragement. Henry began to thrive under her care. By the end of the year, he topped the class, a transformation that stunned everyone. During the farewell ceremony, as students presented gifts to their teachers, Henry shyly handed Miss Mitchell a tiny, unwrapped perfume bottle and an old bracelet. Other children giggled at the simplicity, but Miss Mitchell, now deeply connected to him, proudly wore the bracelet and sprayed the perfume on her wrist. Henry whispered, "Miss Mitchell, today you smell like my mother." The moment froze in time, raw, tender, unforgettable. She embraced him and softly said, "Never forget your second mother." Years passed, and Henry never stopped writing. At each academic milestone, a letter would arrive for Miss Mitchell, always filled with gratitude. Then, one day, a wedding invitation came not from Henry the boy, but from Dr. Henry the man. Inside was a plane ticket. At the wedding, Henry introduced her to everyone as his mother. Both were overcome with emotion. That day, Miss Mitchell understood just how deeply a single act of compassion could shape a life. This story reminds us that behind every quiet child is a story waiting to be heard. When we choose understanding over judgment, we create room for healing. And when we lead with empathy, even in the smallest moments, we leave an impact that can last a lifetime.